Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Zen Lounge. Today we have a special guest. We're going to be going over the technical analysis of the Sologenic chart. So, on my channel, we've been uncovering a lot of research and connecting the dots with this project. Now we're going to go deep into the technicals. I brought in a friend, an expert. Bunny, a lot of you that are on X probably know who this is, but this is Bunny. He's a really respected TA guy on Twitter. So what's up, Bunny? Welcome to the show, and tell us what you're seeing with the Sologenic chart.
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for having me. And I'm seeing an extremely bullish setup. So I figured it would be great to kind of go over the chart with you guys in your community because it's looking great. And I think we're definitely in the leg for the alt season coming up here pretty quick.
Cool. Well, I'm just gonna pass it on to you and just let you basically tell us everything that you're seeing.
Okay, great. Well, so this, what we'll do here is we're going to kind of go over the structure of Sologenic. Then we're going to bounce to some targets off of the market cap. And then we'll finish with some cool kind of breakdowns of how Sologenic in the short run here is going to probably outperform XRP pretty soon for its percent returns. So, all right. So here on the screen, you have the Sologenic part here since back in September of 24. And zooming out a little bit further, you can see that Sologenic had its initial kind of launch that pushed all the coins out, and then it was just a slow fade over time, and then that ended up inevitably resulting in a breakout with a back test of the range here. So there's a lot going on the screen, so I apologize, but I've been working on my count, working through the behaviors of Sologenic as we came off the lows here. So the first thing I want to point out is once we finally got to the lows and we ended up setting a lower low on here, we then had a very beautiful impulsive wave move to the upside. So these impulses, kind of start out and then they kind of chop for a long time for wave twos. And then there's your wave three, four, and five. And so this got us all the way up here in this higher range. And that entire length of time from when it started on the lows took a total of 68 days. Okay. Then the majority of the meat that you get on the actual move, we'll say right there, it was only 9 days that Sologenic was able to go from down here at 0.09 up to, 99 cents where it kind of popped off there. And you can see that it from that level up, we ended up having a 10x in 9 days, right? And then that move, majority of that move got taken back through time, right? So we ended up doing this in a corrective pattern where it ended up being a ABC move to the downside. And let me grab the ABC tool real quick here. And so you ended up having a large A leg down, B leg up, and C leg down. And that ended up giving you a larger, just kind of corrective structure. This is now done. And so I've been working on the wave counts on our way out of here. And we ended up having a wave one, two, three, three, four, and five for what's called a leading diagonal. So you can kind of see how it leads through this move right here. And this is actually a bullish structure setup. And then we just completed our corrective wave down. So when we go into the lower time frames, you can see that we're setting continual higher lows now. And just like back in the day where this thing, and so here's your higher low with another little leading diagonal and a flat structure. So this is getting ready to go to the upside. So just like back in the day when we were looking at this on the daily, this little chop region is basically the equivalent of this right here. So we kind of have the breakout and this move to the side, and then there was the breakout and a move to the side. This was much, much tinier at the time, and we still got a 10x. And now we've done a full accumulation since November to now. So you're looking at 8 months, and this little tiny thing here is now a much bigger thing here. So get ready for this move to the upside. So with that, we have some targets of what we're kind of looking for. So a few ways to measure this is if we do a standard fib on this, you can start seeing expectations that you can see this move anywhere between where we just had this, which was a 500 and 5,400% return. This could actually potentially move up to a 1618 and get you into crazy numbers. Now, I don't think that's going to happen immediately. I think we're going to see this move to the upside happen first, and then we'll have to correct and then move later down the road. as XRP and Sologenic take on more adoption for what they're working with. But here's how we kind of got these targets. So this is Sologenic on the market cap chart, okay? And we're going to be doing a fib here with a standard fib. So when we look at the settings, you scroll down, we don't have this on log scale. And this is a tool that I've used for quite a few years that has helped me hit a lot of tops on projects and exit, up here at these fib levels. So what I'm expecting to happen here is that we're going to, let me get that out of there. And so what I'm expecting to happen here is you had your completion of a pullback. Ignore these kind of illiquid wicks that kind of show up here. These are not real. These are just API issues on the system. So we ended up pulling down. We had that 8-day move to the upside. And on the market cap, you ended up having a back test of this region right here in blue. Okay. And so now what we're going to expect is that we should start seeing a breakout move to the upside where we're going to actually see this wave one, two, three, four, and five get us back up into this region right here. So we can expect that this will continue breaking out. And at minimum, we would probably have a 330 to 56x return from our current price to the top of that region. So does this make sense? And the reason we're using market cap is it takes out of the equation the
What
any
would be
inflation that could happen.
what would be the US dollar value of these targets?
Oh, so here's your return right here. So we've got this percentage being 55%. So if we come back to the solo chart, if we get up to this 55%, you'd be looking at 13 to $14 range for solo. And this can happen just as this took only 9 days. I can see this happening in 30 days easy, which would be pretty impressive. That's a good day right
Well, there
there.
is a bunch of because just to give you some, so that big initial pump that went from 9 cents to 90 cents,
Hmm.
that was the announcement of the Solotex project, and in August is when the Solotex platform officially goes live. So, like, what do you think as far as like time to see this move? Like, is it a short term, long term thing?
Oh yeah, very, very short term. So you say August, so it's definitely going to be a run up into the event is my expectation, right? You generally tend to see markets buy the rumor and sell the news. So I'm expecting this to, the way these market setups are, and we'll, again, there's a lot on this chart, but let's just see if we can make it easy. Did I compound all this? Did I? And I was mostly good. Okay, I didn't put them all into their little folder here. So when we zoom, just looking at this as just kind of as a, untrained eye, here's your 5 waves, your corrective move, and you can see very clearly that this is just continually setting higher lows, right? So we broke into above this high. So we have a new trend change and we're back testing the top of that region with a higher high. So this is poised to go, right? This is a visual representation of moving to the upside here. And so I can, again, this is fast, right? So if this little region right here is the equivalent of this region, this took 9 days. I could see in 2 to 3 weeks, this can be pushing out high for the move to the upside, but that doesn't mean it's going to be instantly that time. I'd say we're probably maybe another week or so out before we really start seeing this kind of popping off the lows. So if that helps you with timing, it's no guarantees, but that would be my best guess. So now I want to share one more intriguing thing that I've been looking at here. And so this is in looking at Sologenic on the XRP pairing component. Okay. So when we check this out and we look at the overall picture, I'm going to zoom out for you on this and we're going to put it on log so we can see this a little bit better. Okay, here we go. So here is Sologenic being referenced in relation to XRP. So this is no longer looking at it as the US dollar price, but this is looking at it as the pairing to XRP. And if we draw a fib on this move right here, the cool thing is you can see that this drawdown ended up putting Sologenic at an inverted 886 fib, okay, right here, basically at this level. And we have this nice little bounce off of that region and a back test kind of forming here. The reason this is important is if we look at this overall structure here where we end up coming down, having this bounce and then one more low, the this reminded me of another chart that I've looked at before. So if we retain that image of what we were referencing and we go to the XRP dominance and we look at this on the 3 day, this is XRP compared to the overall market. And what you can see here is that XRP took market share, ended up coming all the way down, had a spike at the end, and then finished at the 886, just like Sologenic did. And now it ended up doing a kind of a double tap. So imagine Sologenics in this region here and maybe loses comparison to XRP. So XRP outperforms for a little bit. Sologenic is doing well. It's just not outperforming the percentages that XRP is doing. And then out of nowhere, Sologenic hits some news and pops off in its market share comparison to XRP. So this is what I've been doing is that whenever there's a discrepancy between XRP and Sologenic, which you can see today, XRP is up 4% and Solo is only up 1.25. Whenever these comparisons are happening, I'm switching XRP into Sologenic, rotating, and then running this potential multiplier out of Sologenic over XRP. So hopefully that was not fully nerdy. You can understand what I was saying. But the point is we're using this to figure out will Sologenic outperform? And really the cool part is here's this backtest region after having an initial spike. And if we go back to the Sologenic chart and we look at it again on where we were, here's this initial spike, this breakdown, this backtest, and I'm expecting Sologenic to outperform uh, XRP very soon, and that would be a huge multiplier of either your XRP or a return on Sologenic. But this is a confirmation that our wave count that we're expecting to play out on Solo is likely to happen because this is showing this beautiful bull flag with an ABC structure, a breakdown and a reset just like this was here. And this might just kind of start drifting up and then all of a sudden it just takes off. And that's the trade that I have. And I'm looking for ultimately somewhere between 30 to 55x to complete this next leg up into here. So I'm hoping to see that 6 to 14.
30 to 55x. That'll make me a happy guy, man.
I know,
That'll make
wouldn't
me
it?
a happy guy.
There's
Let's
your
see.
just your return to the prior all-time high is a 25x.
Wow.
So it's getting ready, and I really do think alt season is here. One other super nerdy thing, just to kind of point out of why alt season is here, in my opinion, is I've been tracking the Bitcoin dominance. Okay, so we have a larger setup here, and this, I mean, this almost is like the same exact play for Solo, right? The expectation is Solo's here, ends up doing a back test, right? Breaks out, gets up to the top of the region, pulls back, and then maybe performs as well or a little bit better than XRP and ends up getting back into this region here, right? So imagine this is that same dominance chart, but now it's Bitcoin's turn. So Bitcoin did this and then took off. Well, as we get in here, we had one, two, three, four, five waves up, and then we did a corrective wave A and then a B. And now the expectation is that we're going to fall down to the C leg here. So I've been monitoring this super, super tight and super close price action here on Bitcoin dominance. And to me, this pullback and this corrective move up looks like it's going to roll over. And this is money rotating out of Bitcoin into the altcoins, and you get these massive pops. So this is getting ready because here's the Sologenic pop right here that we got back in November. Let me zoom out a smidge. This price action here was your November pop of Sologenic when Bitcoin dominance was lost. So then we took all the dominance back and then some for Bitcoin. And if this breaks down like this did, which I'm expecting it to be more aggressive on its pull down, you can really start seeing those multipliers play out. So this is what I've been really watching because it's the opposite of what we're looking for with Sologenic, and it should outperform XRP in the short term.
So you're saying in the past when Bitcoin does not good, Solo does good?
That's right. And when XRP does good at towards the end, Solo does even better. So it's a rotation. So out of Bitcoin into XRP, we're seeing that happening right now. So Bitcoin is only up 0.2%, XRP is up 4%. So out of Bitcoin into XRP, then XRP does well, then out of XRP into Solo. And that's kind of
Wow.
like it just rotates down through the whole thing.
Wow.
So
Pretty, go, keep going.
oh no, no, I was just going to do a summary recap. So
Okay.
basically we're just using these dominance plays to give us a perspective that Sologenic is right here, the equivalent about to do this compared to XRP. XRP is up in this region, right? So if we look at the dominance for XRP, XRP has made it back up here, right? So there's the same spot that it had gotten up to. So now Solo's turn for the XRP pairing is to go from this super, super small level here to shoot up like XRP did into this region. So anyway, so the point is it's pretty cool. And we're going to see Bitcoin rotating into XRP, XRP rotating into Solo. And these pop-offs can happen extremely quick. As you saw, it was only 9 days for Solo to actually take the entire market back,
What
and then some.
one question I have for you, from your experience of doing technical analysis and studying all these charts and being a fan of altcoins, do you think that the altcoin projects also take a look at these charts and like time news and events, or like just like releasing information with the good times of the charts? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
It's an intrigue, so do you remember the exact news event?
'Cause basically everything that you're saying right now, and like it seems like they've been holding back a lot of information on Sologenic. Like they're supposed to
Hmm.
release a new white paper, a bunch of information is supposed to be revealed about the project, and it hasn't been released yet. So they could be timing it with this chart that you're showing us, and it could be like any day they could start adding the gas to the fire and start releasing news that could really send this thing like trigger everything that you're showing on the charts.
Yeah, I mean, there's something coming. I mean, so show me the term that is out there is show me the chart and I'll tell you the news, right?
Right.
And this is the tell right here. This higher low. So you have this breakout wedge, okay? Then you end up having a corrective WXYZ pattern. So it goes, down, does a five-wave move to the downside, finishes on support, which was this region, right?
Hmm.
And now it's actually setting higher lows. So what we want to see is a trend change where this breaks into a higher high. But
Would that
this
higher
area,
high be around like 30 something cents, like 31, 32 cents? Like, would be
yeah,
the big trigger?
we want to see 26 cents taken back. 20, we'll say
26
27.
cents.
Yeah, 27 will round up. So this is poised to get a 27% return. And you can see, or sorry, 27 cents is what we want to see. And the momentum is starting to turn to the upside here. So we're hoping that that should manifest soon. But um, the biggest visual is that you ended up having, lower low, lower low, lower low. And now this, if it holds, is a higher low kind of being set up here. And as soon as we start taking a higher high and we do it in a impulsive wave, this whole region then parabolic moves. And so I think the news narratives are close because this is bullish off the lows, and this is a back test of that region. And all of this is finished with the correction that took a majority of the move back. But notice it also back tested this region right here. So everything has kind of found support, and now it should be ready to go after this initial explosive move and then correction that came off of it.
Well,
So
great, man. Thanks for coming on. This is awesome. Is there like any other important data you need to share with us before we close this out?
no, I'll try one more time because I can be nerdy. So I'll do a recap. Basically, this structure looks finished on the correction with higher lows being continually set, which will eventually mean impulsive. So some news event is showing up. Reminder that it only takes 9 days for the whole world to look different, right there. And then what we have then is XRP is already leading, right? It's coming off the lows and it's moving very aggressively out of here. So that's a huge sign because the entire ecosystem should benefit from XRP's movement. And then XRP was able to do a dominance reclaim, right? And so eventually, as XRP's dominance recovers and takes more market share, you're going to see that roll down into the sologenic pairing where money is going to rotate out of XRP as it doesn't have as much potential upside and it will go into solo and solo will basically move right up to this region here, and we would expect this move to be quick as it begins moving its way to the upside here, like that. So this is where XRP is now in the market cap dominance, and it did this back test, and Solo is right here in this region, is going towards this region, which will outperform XRP very soon.
So as a trader, what would you like set your first target on solo before we end this?
First target for me, I'm going to expect that we're going to move up to the, let's see here, let me get it on the market cap chart. So I use the market cap chart just to give us an idea. I'm expecting we'll probably make it up to the 2618 would be my guess before we have to cool off a little bit. And
What dollar amount would that be?
so that would be a return of 33x. And so if we go back to the solo chart, you'd be looking at, I'll match this up with our current price. There we go. So a 33x would take us back into a new all-time high. Let's see if I did it over here. There we go. So 33x would put us right there, and that would be about eight bucks. We'll
Eight
round.
bucks. Yeah,
Hmm.
let's go.
And then we would
Oh my
ultimately
God.
pull back right, maybe back test this region right here in the chart. So let's go a little zoomed out.
So this
So we
thing's gonna
go,
be like moving like crazy then.
oh yeah, so it's going to be here, back to the all-time high. People who are trapped up here will take profits. It probably will back test here, and then it will finish its move around 55x. So good
Wow.
opportunities to trade. So you see profits come in, just start peeling out, back test, reaccumulate, and run that last leg. Because that last leg, if we go here and we pull that back test, there would be another 5x if you manage to scalp and then go back in again for that last move.
Ooh, 14 bucks. Okay.
Yeah, and this is how it would maybe look hypothetically. We would do all this with 5 waves, pull back, and then one more run.
Let's go for it, man. Solo summer. That'll change. That'll be so epic if this when this plays out. So thank you for coming and giving us your time. And let me know in the comment section if you would like me to bring Bunny back. He could do any chart. He's the mastermind. So maybe we'll have you come back and do some more vids. So
Sounds good, friend. Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
yeah. All right, man. Well, I'll catch you later. Peace, everyone.